Hey everyone, how's it going? PHX Loki here, and it's been a while since I last uploaded a video, but I've found a new game, and I've taken interest in it. So I figured, I'd upload a video, because there seems to be a sore lack of them for the game. The game in question is Shadowverse. It's a collectible card game, made by CY Games, or Psy Games, not necessarily sure how they pronounce that, but anyway, the deck I want to highlight is a Runecraft Daria Dimensional Witch deck. It's a tempo deck. Now, like I said, I'm still fairly new to the game. I've only been playing for, about a week or so. Spent a lot of time re-rolling, and I finally got an excellent re-roll on the initial packs you get in the game. Anyway, I'll just jump in and show you the deck real quick, and then we can get into a game, and I'll show you some gameplay. So this is the deck, the hotness. Yeah, it's a good name. Anyway, this is the general deck list. It's basically filled with a lot of spells and spell boost cards. So you got stuff like Insight, which is just, it's a cheap spell. Just draw a card, cycle through your deck. Time War Mage Levi is excellent. When you evolve him, you get a 1 mana, deal 3 damage spell. Super efficient for the mana cost, and it activates all the spell boost cards in the deck. I'm not going to go through every single card, I'll just kind of slowly scroll by, but they're either, all these cards are either spells or or have some sort of spell boost effect. The deck is fairly concise. So, like Craig, Wizard of Mysteria, this card right here, spell boost a follow in your hand 2 times, then you have Clark, spell boost all the followers in your hand 2 times, and the followers which are going to benefit from spell boosting are the Witch and Emilo here. Just a simple 2-2 for 3 mana, you bump that down to 0 pretty easily, and a 0 mana 2-2 is pretty good, especially early on in the game if you can activate it quickly. Then you got the Ogler. It's a new card. Same deal as Witch and Emio, just higher mana cost, more stats. It's not too difficult to get this down to, 1 or 2 or 0 mana, optimally. Fate's Hand, just draw 2 cards, 5 mana. Spell boost reduces the cost. Blade Mage, which at first to me it seemed overcosted, a 6 mana for 2-2, even if it does have Storm. But when you add the spell boost effect onto it, which subtracts the cost, having 2 damage that can go face and really try to close out the game early can be really, really effective. And then finally, the crux of the deck, the only reason that this deck actually works, Daria the Dimensional Witch. It's a new legendary introduced in the most recent expansion, which came out just over a week ago. So, I'll just explain this for those who don't know. It's Fanfare, banish all the cards in your hand, which is just like discard the cards in your hand, just get rid of them. So it empties your hand, but then it draws 5 cards and spell boosts those cards 5 times. So basically, whenever you cast a spell boost activates, for example, on the Ogler here. When spell boost is active, when you cast a spell, and this is in my hand, it goes from 5 mana to 4 mana. Daria spell boosts 5 times. So, for example, if I played Daria on turn 9, and she drew 5 cards, and one of those cards was this Ogler here, this Ogler would then cost 0 mana, and I could play it immediately. Incredibly powerful for cycling through your deck. Without her, this deck would run out of steam very quickly, because it's filled with a lot of cheap minions and a lot of cheap spells. And then the thing that really is the icing on the cake for her is she is also affected by spell boost. So if you have her in your hand early on, every time she gets spell boosted, her cost goes down by 1. It's actually not all that uncommon to play Daria at 0 mana and get huge tempo swings. You play her as the last card in your hand, so you don't even discard anything, and then you draw 5 cards, and they're all spell boosted, and the synergy is ridiculous. Generally, 1 Daria is enough to close out a game. I was originally... So some modifications I made to the deck. I was originally running a 7 mana spell boost creature. Let me get to the end here. I don't remember what it's called. This one right here, the Flame Destroyer. It's a 7/7 for 10, which has that spell boost of subtracting its cost, but Too often I would get this in my hand, and usually if you have one of these, it's okay, but too often I would have like both Daria and Flame Destroyer, or 2 Flame Destroyers, or, you know, worst case, you'd have 3 of these cards, because if you have 2 of these in your hand, generally 1 is okay, because you can reduce the cost of it, but if you end up getting 2, your hand gets cluttered, and it's hard to spell boost cards efficiently. So I ended up cutting these Flame Destroyers, actually, because it just makes the deck run more smoothly. Yeah, I mean, when you get a 0 mana 7/7 out, or like even just like a 3 mana 7/7, it's incredible. You know, the tempo swing is ridiculous, but it felt more harmful than helpful in most cases, which is why it has been removed. The last interesting tidbit I wanted to mention was this card here, Piercing Rune. I guess we can also include Dance of Death in this, but so this deck isn't a very bursty deck. It has a lot of consistent damage and a lot of board presence through the use of spell boosting and getting cheap minions out. All of these minions, however, none of them are really powerhouses. The biggest minion in the deck is Daria, which is a 5/5. The second biggest would be Ogler at 3/4. So how do we deal damage, right? The way we kill them is through these cards right here. So Piercing Rune, first off, deal 2 damage to an enemy follower, and then 2 damage to the enemy leader. This is significant. This 2 extra chip damage means a lot more. I've played a lot of Hearthstone, so I'm used to 30 health. In Shadowverse, there's only 20 health, so this extra 2 damage, that's 10% of their health just gone right there. You know, you have 3 of these, and the same effect is on Dance of Death, except instead of dealing 2 damage to a follower, you just destroy a follower and deal 2 damage. If you can get off 2 or 3 of these in a game, which is pretty common, like usually I get at least 2 Piercing Runes off. Dance of Death is hit or miss depending on what deck I'm playing against. It can be too slow sometimes. But Piercing Rune, I easily get off 2 in a game. You know, about half the time I get off 3, and the vast majority of games I get 2 of these. And that's 4 damage, right? It's board control, and it deals damage to their face. It's just an amazing card. The caveat is, if it was 4 mana all the time, it would actually not be very good. It's just too overcosted for what it is. However, it has this thing at the bottom. If an allied follower evolves, change the cost of this card to 1. So if this card is, it's kind of like Spell Boost. If this card is in your hand and you evolve a minion while this is in your hand, its cost is permanently changed to 1. Permanently. So even if that follower that you evolve dies in the line of duty, and you don't have any evolved minions on your side of the board, this will remain at 1 mana. So you can set it up for combos on later turns as well, just for efficiency's sake. And being able to deal 4 damage for 1 mana, you know, even though it is split, is a very significant deal. So generally, you're looking for a lot of chip damage with these 2 spells and the Blade Mage as well. And then you build up, generally you get chip damage early on for putting out cheap Oglers and Witchet Emelos and all that good stuff. And then you get chip damage with these 3 cards. Whoops, just removed those. Yeah, and then you just refill your hand with Daria. It's just a bunch of chip damage, a lot of high tempo, a lot of spell boosting. So it's, for those who played Hearthstone, it's almost seems like a hybrid between the Tempo Mage with Flamewaker and like Miracle Rogue. It kind of seems like a hybrid between these 2. Anyway, don't save. We're just gonna hop into some gameplay real quick. I'll show you a couple of games. Again, I haven't been playing for too long, so I'm not too high ranked at D3. But we'll see how this goes. It is a really enjoyable deck to play. There has been a fair amount of grief on various forums for Shadowverse over Daria and how she feels unfair to play against sometimes, and I can wholeheartedly agree with that as someone who plays a Daria deck. She can be very unfair under the right circumstances. Alright, playing against
I guess you're looking for a fight.
Runecraft.
Time to get started.
Okay, so this opening hand, we don't want these. They're really nice if you get them spell boosted, but they don't contribute anything to the early game. Ogler is okay to keep if you already have a cheap spell, but I'm going to discard it because I really want to get cheap spells and cheap minions early on. A 5-mana minion, even though it'll get reduced, is fine, but that's just 1 less chance to draw a cheap spell. Okay, so this hand is a little disappointing. Time Lord Mage Levi's really good. Okay, so that was a good draw. So we at least have a curve. We can go 2 into 3, and then possibly this on 4. We'll probably draw a better option, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, so there's Daria. So we're just going to play Levi.
I'm just a mage who's as old as dirt.
To get the Crimson Sorcery, the 1 mana deal 3 damage spell, you have to evolve him. So it might look like I'm just throwing this away right now, but
Unbelievable! Unbelievable!
it's something we gotta do. Okay, and then we play Clark.
It's knowledge I seek.
I am going to value trip here. Since I haven't been playing for very long, I'm not overly familiar with a lot of the decks I run against. I'm more so familiar with certain cards classes have. Like Runecraft has a 6 mana destroy all followers thing. This is most definitely an aggro deck. What is this? Game +1/+1. Okay, so we're actually going to use. So we're gonna get rid of his entire board. So right now my options are either Blade Mage, a 4 mana 2 damage charger, or Kaleidoscopic Glow. If I play Blade Mage, I can clear his board and keep this at a 2/1 and have this as a 2/1. Levi would die. If I play Kaleidoscopic Glow, I forfeit a 2/1, but I draw a card and I spell boost both Daria and Blade Mage for higher tempo turns in the future, which is exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to return this middle one, because these two have Storm, so if I return them, it'll just come to face and kill me. So that's happening. That's happening. Unfortunately, we didn't draw anything, but next turn, we can evolve, and then both these piercing runes will be put to 1, and then that's when we can really start popping off. We just have to hope to survive 2 or 3 more turns.
Daria!
Okay, what you do? Summon Forest Bat.
Go! Go! Go!
That's bad news bears.
Be angry. Go Bloodkin!
Oh my god, it hurts. Stop it.
How interesting.
Okay. Okay, so here we go. So we're gonna play
Atone
Blade
with
Mage.
your lifeblood.
We're going to
You're
evolve it.
done for.
So we got a 4/4. It already had Storm, I know that, but I needed to evolve to reduce these piercing runes to 1. So now I can piercing rune this.
You just think you
We can piercing rune this. So we remove 2 minions,
Thin them out.
remove 3 minions, and now Daria costs 4, Fate's Hand costs 3. I have Dance of Death in hand. Dance of Death is probably going to be discarded by Daria. I don't think I'm going to have time to use this. See, against aggro decks like this, like, yeah, I could destroy this 1/1, but spending 5 mana to do that when they're easily going to refill the board with the same type of thing is just not efficient.
God's word!
This guy's just going face. Face is the place for this, man. Okay, so I think I am going to. I think I might actually just Daria, just right off the bat. I think that's our play. Because if I draw this, I just draw 2 more cards that'll likely get discarded. If I Dance of Death, I can't do anything else this turn. Yeah, it's just Daria.
With a bang and a boom!
Hopefully we get some efficient spell boost cards. Ooh, that was really good. That was really good. Okay, so what do we do here? So we're gonna clear his board, or we're gonna try to. I don't think we can clear his board actually. Okay, so we're going to do this. See what we get. Okay, so we get Ogler.
Atone with your lifeblood.
It won't be long now.
This.
You'll all be swept! I'll blow you to bits!
Thin them out. Let's thin them
I'm
out.
just gonna clear his board. I should be able to kill him next turn because I have what is this? 11, 14. I have 16 damage on board. Plus I have Levi's Crimson Sorcery, 16, so 19 damage, and then this is 20 damage. Okay, now I'm down to 10 damage, but he doesn't have anything else. That costs 6 mana. That's the tempo swing that Daria can bring. I was in a losing position with dead cards in my hand until I played Daria, in which she drew me a bunch of cards. They were all spell boosted, and I could play them immediately for that tempo. And that's generally how the deck works. You draw dead or you draw great, and either way you get rid of the dead cards or you get rid of the of nothing because you drew great and you just spent all your spells. So we'll show one more battle. Just another example of the deck, hopefully play against something other than blood, just so I can show you a different example of how the deck works. I should note that this deck absolutely, I think I mentioned this before, but this deck absolutely will not work without Daria. She is a must. You need, I would say, at least 2 of her, and 3 is obviously the best, because you can put 3 of her in the deck. You'd put more if you could. But, yeah. So we got another blood deck. That's okay, though. That's okay.
For defeat.
Okay, so we got Daria, Witchette, and Ogler. I'm going to get rid of Daria and Ogler. Daria is too expensive to keep against Blood, who I assume is going to be aggro. Same goes for Ogler. Witchette is not, because even on if turn 3 rolls around and she has mid-spell boost, you play a 2-2. It's meh. It's not very good, but it's something. I can't afford to wait for turn 5 if I don't get anything, so that was really good. Craig is a great card to pick up early. Craig is a 2-2 minion. Spell boosts a card in your hand twice. So we'll see what we do next turn. Okay, yeah, so I think I'm actually going to spell boost Daria.
Just maybe this
So you play a 2-2 and Daria goes from 9 to 7. So we're just going to start charging this up as fast as we can. Next turn might be a little inefficient, but nope, it'll be amazing because I just drew perfect. So we're going to Insight to draw a card and then Conjure Golem. Put another card on the field, face, there we go. And already, our Daria is at 5. She used to cost 9 mana, she's at 5 already. I've played 3 cards.
I'm just getting warmed up.
So I've gained board control, and I've gained future tempo as well. Okay, so what do we do here? Honestly, I think we just... Yeah, I'm just gonna draw. I would have, if this was a 2 health minion, I would have just used this and killed it, but I would have to sacrifice one of these either way, so I'm just gonna draw some cards, and then I can play her for free. Let me just go face. There's no need to trade. Next turn we can use Craig on Daria. Yeah, next turn is going to be a pretty ridiculous turn. So here's the plan for next turn. We play Craig. We used on Daria. Daria goes to 2. We evolve Craig so he can attack. Piercing runes go to 1. I play my 2 piercing runes, and Daria would then go down to 0. So I can play all 4 of these cards next turn. In total, I'm going to be playing. This is going to be a 4/4, a 5/5. So I'm getting 9/9 worth of stats. I'm dealing 4 damage to minions and 4 damage to face. And I'm drawing 5 cards and spell boosting them. It's absolutely insane. So we're gonna Craig.
Maybe, just maybe, this magic will help.
We're gonna evolve
You're
Craig.
done for.
Stay away from the academy.
We're going to piercing rune this one. Piercing rune it again. And then we play Daria.
With a bang and a boom.
For 0 mana on turn 5. She's a 9 cost card, need I remind you. And then we get all of these. And then we can just draw again. And then we can play our Ogler for free. We can just kill this off and then go face. And on turn 5, this is our board. And he's at 6 health. We're at 20. We have... This is 1 damage, 1 damage, and then 3 damage from Time Lord's Levi's Crimson Sorcery spells. So we have 5 damaging spells.
Do it after all.
7 damage if you include Dancing
Witness
Death.
the power.
So even if he just clears my board, I can just go face the spells at this point and win.
I lost? Yeah, right.
Alright, so all we do now is play
I'm
Time
just a
Lord
mage
Levi.
who's as old as dirt.
Evolve him.
Won't be long now.
It's just like back in the old days.
Go face. And then we use his Crimson Sorcery to deal 3 damage.
Your strength is formidable.
Easy peasy. And that's how the deck works. It's extremely hard to keep up with this deck. I don't know enough about the game to say what will counter it, but I have definitely won most of my games up to this point. My win percentage is probably like between 60 and 70%. Anyway, that was the video showing off the Daria Tempo Witch runecrafting deck. If you like the video, I mean, you can say so in the comments, leave me a like, all of that good stuff. If you want to come back for more Shadowverse videos, I'm going to try uploading more. Might be a lot of runecrafting for now, because these are mostly the only cards that I have, but we'll see what the future holds. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and that's all for today. PHX Loki out.